everybody, welcome to After Prison Show, and in this video we're going to be debunking a prison myth. And what this prison myth has to deal with is money in prison. You know, while serving time, you cannot get your hands on actual physical dollar bills. Though in certain cases, maybe some prisoners are able to get their hands on those, in most cases, you're just not going to be having any physical dollar bills inside your hands while inside of a prison. So with that, what exactly is money in prison? Or better yet, what is used for money while serving time? Well, for those of you who may not know, when it comes to what exactly is money while serving time, everything on the inside is money. Every last commissary item you can purchase from the prison commissary is money, and pretty much any and everything you can get your hands on while serving time is worth something to somebody who's in there. So tell me again why you're trying to purchase from me my dirty and used underwear? No reason. No reason at all. That actually happened to me one time. Crazy story we'll save for another time entirely. Well, with the fact that everything in prison has a cost and price, and I think it was Cage the Elephant who said it best, saying, "Oh, there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I've got bills to pay, I've got mouths to feed. It ain't nothing in this world for free." What is the most popular form of prison currency? Well, according to some, and what I like to refer to as a prison myth that I've been hearing a lot over the last couple of months about what exactly the most popular form of prison currency is. And you know, real quick, I really wonder where they got this information from. Did this come from like years of research and then all of a sudden after some scientific breakthrough, this was like national breaking news? Good evening. I'm Joe Guerrero with the Evening World Star Hip Hop World News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming of Dance Moms. That's right. You were just watching Dance Moms. I caught you. It's okay. You're not normal. But we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. We're now going live on location to our field correspondent. Tommy, what do you have for us?
Touch 'em two times, Tommy, here live on location. I do not know where I am, but it would appear that after years of research and development, ramen noodle soups, ramen soups have just been discovered as the most popular form of prison currency. I do not know where they are getting this information from, but I am now sending it back to you, Pat Robinson. I'm going back to Miami. Catch me on the next episode of Miami Vice.
I wonder if they could tell I'm actually not wearing pants in this.
Probably not.
Are ramen noodle soups the most popular form of prison currency? Well, according to What the Duck Facts on Twitter, replace the D with the F and you've got the actual name of this Twitter profile with over 6 million followers. According to What the Duck Facts, who just tweeted a couple of days ago saying the most popular form of prison currency is no longer cigarettes. It's ramen noodles. And judging by some of the people who responded to this tweet, it would appear they feel the same exact way. Like this young lady who says, "True, I used to be a CO. And that shit gets passed around like it's a drug. LOL. Or this guy who says, "Sadly, I can verify this as #truth." And goes on to follow that tweet up with another one saying, "For those wondering, in case anybody really was, I called a judge a hypocrite and got 1 week for disorderly conduct. 2.5 days in solitary and 4.5 days in Gen Bop." I can feel your pain. I can feel your pain. Dude did 2.5 days in isolation and 4.5 days in general population. If by chance you see this video, please contact me. I would love to have you on this show and interview you about your experience. It sounds like possibly one of the worst that I have ever heard about before. 7 days you spent locked up. 7 whole days. Cody, how many hours are in 7 days? 24 times 7, that's like 100. Dude spent a long time behind the wall. His tweet continues saying, "I traded my cookies for Lady Speed Stick and my Sunday breakfast tray for a pack of ramen noodles." Why would you trade that breakfast tray for one single ramen noodle? Dude, you got beat. Probably not, though. It's probably some BS tray. He probably slept through breakfast and he got him a ramen noodle soup. He probably considered himself an OG trading the cookies off of his tray for a lady speed stick. Let me tell you, a lady speed stick, that's like $2.50. You're gonna be trading a lot of cookies. I don't think you're getting enough cookies in 7 days to add up to the cost of a lady speed stick. Something about your tweets just don't be sounding right to me at all. Unless you was just a stinking dude. And dudes was like, look, man, for real, take this lady speed stick, put some deodorant on, man. You've been in here for 2.5 days. How you smelling like that? Have you taken a shower at all this week? Sorry, I got a little off track right there, but let's get back on track right now. And let's go ahead and debunk this prison myth about ramen noodle soups being now the most popular form of prison currency. And the first thing that I'm going to say in relation to this is they are absolutely not the most popular form of prison currency. They're not, okay? They're not. In most prisons, I don't know about every single prison, but in every prison that I've been in, and I'm sure in quite a few others as well, a pack of ramen noodle soups cost about 30-something cents. Let's just say it costs 35 cents. It's going to take you 3 ramen noodle soups to equal $1 prison dollar. Now, of course, when it comes to small things like maybe you're trying to buy you an extra chicken patty or hot dog tray or maybe a cup of coffee, then yes, you're probably going to use some ramen noodle soups to purchase those things. You might be able to get you an extra chicken patty or hot dog tray for like 2, maybe 3 ramen noodle soups. But for most everything else that you're going to be purchasing in prison that you can purchase that's for sale in prison, whether we're talking about a roll-up cigarette that can cost anywhere from between like $1.50 up to like $7. And for those of you who don't know what a roll-up is 1/3 of a regular cigarette. Can you imagine spending $7 for 1/3 of a cigarette? My God. Dude, you got you an addiction problem. You spending $7 for that little pinner right there. We're talking about anything else that you can purchase in prison, from a pair of gym shorts to a pair of shoes that can range in price from anywhere between $5 for them gym shorts upwards of like $150 for some used tennis shoes. And real quick, just to go ahead and throw this in here, I myself spent something like $100 for a pair of used all-white, icy white Air Force Ones while locked up. Why? Well, for one, you couldn't get those type of shoes while in prison. And for 2, even used, these were still some of the freshest damn shoes that were walking around that prison compound. Oh, look at Joe with them all-white, icy white Air Force Ones and they used. I know he spent a grip to get those. He sure did, and he damn sure didn't do so paying for them with any ramen noodle soups. And the reason why? I ain't got no soups. I didn't make commissary. Hey, man, get away from me, man. Go find you a prison hustle or something. I ain't got no soups for you. This right here, folks, is why. What is inside of this prison commissary laundry bag is only $20 in ramen noodle soups. You're talking about 60 soups just to equal $20. How exactly are you going to transport this anywhere across the prison? And you most certainly ain't getting through no wreck doors or gates with a commissary prison laundry bag filled up with ramen noodle soups looking just like this. Well, what do we got here? What you going on that commissary inside that bag? You going on that wreck yard trying to buy you some of that elite contraband? Hey, don't you run? Hey, go. Again, this is only about 20 prison dollars right here. This is about the normal starting cost for most things in prison. Whether we're talking about a tattoo or a Buttman magazine. But don't get me wrong, I've seen Buttman magazines go for about $150 in prison. Why? Because you can't get them and everybody wants one. And also, you could Xerox the pages of those things and it's like having a money printing machine in prison. And you're not going to be able to transport this anywhere in or around the prison. Not even inside of your own housing unit or cell block. Because if anybody sees you walking around with a bag full of ramen noodle soups like this and it's not store day, whether we're talking about the guards or any other prisoners who might be nosy, maybe snitch prisoners, they're going to automatically know that you're using whatever's inside of this bag to pay for something. And this much bulky prison currency, this is going to make the spot pretty hot. Hey, look, man, I got that money right here in the bag for you. Right here, $20, man. I got $20 right here in this bag for you. Nah, what you doing coming over here with all the ramen noodle soups in that bag, man? You won't make a spot hot, man? Get out of here, man. What you doing? I didn't know. I thought this was the most popular form of prison currency, man. I didn't know. I just really wanted to get that Buttman magazine. Then go ahead and add to that, whoever has a prison hustle, whether we're talking tats or something that pays really good prison money, they are most certainly not going to want to get paid in no ramen noodle soups. And the reason why is a lot of what we've already discussed this far. It's bulky, it's hot, you can't easily transport this item, and also these ramen noodle soups, they take up a heck of a lot of space. And space in prison is something you most certainly do not have a lot of while you're in there. Whether we're talking about your foot locker, wall locker, any kind of storage area you may or may not have in prison, you are most certainly not going to want to go using and filling all of that up with some funky old ramen noodle soups. And I mean, just think about that. If this is only $20 in ramen soups taking up this much space, oh my God, did I break that? Well, think how much space $100 in ramen noodle soups is going to take up. We're talking about $300 ramen noodle soups. And that's going to take up any and all space that you got. So, with completely debunking this prison myth about ramen noodle soups being the most popular prison currency, what then is exactly the most popular form of prison currency? Which item is it? Well, from my own personal experience, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I've seen and know has been the most popular form of prison currency. And what that is stamps. Stamps, what you put on a letter to mail out to your loved ones. Costing about 50 cents. 2 equals $1. You can buy a book in prison, which is about 10 stamps. That's $5. Easy to transport, low key, no heat at all. Nobody's gonna be none the wiser that you're transporting 10 books of stamps, which equals 50 prison dollars. Nobody's gonna be none the wiser that you got that on you, because it ain't gonna take up no space at all. Stamps are, in fact, the easiest way to transport bulk amounts of prison dollars. Whether we're talking about $20, $50, $100+, and what you might think is an uncommon amount of money to be spent in prison, you might be surprised to learn that there are certain prisoners who can spend that money like it ain't nothing. Whether it comes from mommy and daddy holding them down, whether it comes from some sort of pen pal prison girlfriend, or whether it comes from some sort of super lucrative prison hustle, whether we're talking about tattooing, gambling, or anything else prisoners can get involved with while doing time, there are most certainly a fair amount of prisoners who can spend that $20, $50, $100+ like it ain't nothing. And when it comes to spending that money or getting paid that money, they most certainly are not doing so using, again, some funky old ramen noodle soups. It ain't happening. You cannot do it. So again, stamps, they're most certainly one of, if not the most popular form of prison currency. But don't get me wrong. There are a lot of prisoners who are selling things, whether we're talking about those gym shorts, whether we're talking about those tennis shoes, whether we're talking about that Buttman magazine, whatever it is. There are a lot of prisoners who are selling things who will only accept food items for whatever they're selling. And even in those cases, they're not taking no ramen noodle soups. And instead, what they're wanting pouches. Whether we're talking about a chili beef or tuna pouch, ranging anywhere from like $1.50 upwards of like $3+ per pouch. They're wanting summer sausages or cheese blocks, ranging anywhere from the same price between like $1.50 or $1.75 upwards of like $3+. Or even better, if not best, they're wanting bags of coffee. Because coffee has pretty much replaced cigarettes in prison just as much as prisoners used to smoke cigarettes back in the day. They have now replaced that addiction with the caffeine in the coffee. And there most certainly are some coffee drinkers while you're serving time in the clink. And a bag of coffee costs anywhere between like $2.50, maybe $2.75, up to like $5 a bag. And all of those food items that I've just mentioned right there, whether we're talking pouches, sausages, or cheese blocks, or the coffee, though they're not the easiest items to transport and can be just as bulky as some ramen noodle soups, you're definitely not going to have to transport as many items to equal the total dollar amount. Because again, $20 in ramen noodle soups, you're talking 60 soups. Whereas if it was bags of coffee instead, and those bags of coffee were $5 a bag, you would only need 4 of those bags of coffee. Sorry, I had to make sure my math was correct right there. I am getting a lot better at math. There's one more prison currency item I want to throw into the mix of all of this just to get a little more technical. And this is also a very popular form of prison currency. And what exactly that is, now this may sound like a little contradiction from what I had first mentioned at the very beginning of this video. But what I'm talking about is, in fact, real money, which is referred to while in prison as street to street. Meaning that I owe you some money for something. Maybe you did give me that Buttman magazine, and maybe I owe you $150 for it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call my people up on the phone and tell my people to send your people $150, and then hopefully your people are going to take that money and then send it to you. Street to street is probably the most preferred method of prison currency that there is, though not many prisoners are in a position where they're able to do anything like that. And also street to street is mostly reserved for prisoners who are owing substantial amounts of money. They are definitely having them some problems with some prison debt. Whether it's because of gambling or the most likely source, because of an addiction. And in cases just like this, you might be wondering, like, how would anybody be able to call their people, their loved ones, their family, and convince them to send somebody that they don't know all of this money? Well, in cases just like that, it usually goes something like this. Oh my God, Mom, I'm so glad you picked up the phone. Look, Mom, I'm having a lot of problems in prison. Mom, you gotta send these guys like $400. Mom, I'm not safe in here. Please send that money. You're gonna send it. Okay, Mom, thank you so much. I love you. I love you so much, Mom. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, she said she sent the money. Hey, you got any more of that over there? Mom, you're still on the phone. What are you doing? I thought you hung up, Mom. So yeah. Ramen noodles, they are most certainly not the most popular form of prison currency. At all. They're not. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, nor ever find yourself locked up where you will have to experience for yourself what exactly is the most popular form of prison currency, and make the most of every day. Peace! We're live. Good evening. Welcome to the World Evening World Star Hip Hop News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming of Dance Moms. That's right. You were just watching Dance Moms. I caught you. It's okay. You're not normal. But again, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this breaking news. We're now going live on location to our field correspondent. Tommy, what do you have for us? Roll it! And a little game stuff. Roll it! We're now going live on location to our field correspondent. Tommy, what do you have for us? Tommy, what do you have for us? Tommy! Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy! 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 Don't you die on me, Tommy! Tommy, what do you have for us?
Hey, I'm back, bitches.